All over the world, governments spend literally billions trying to support innovation and entrepreneurship. But the sad truth is we don't really know what works. The only way you find out what works is by doing experiments, using control groups, and seeing who benefits from an intervention, who grows and who doesn't grow. And we think we need to build into really the practice of policy everywhere a very simple question: how would we know if what you're saying or what you think is true or not? And if we can get that embedded so everything is tried and tested before it's scaled up, before it turns into laws, tax reliefs and so on, we think we can save enormous amounts of time and energy and get much better results in terms of growth and jobs. And that's a big payoff.
Governments around the world spend billions in programs to support innovation, entrepreneurship and growth. The problem is that we don't really know what effect these policies are having. So are there better ways of spending this money? Could we achieve a greater impact by doing something differently? So partly today is about how can we make this policy area much more evidence-based. It's also how can we make this policy area much more innovative. IGL is a global collaboration of governments, foundations and researchers that aims to make innovation and growth policy much more experimental.
Governments need to be more experimental and take more evidence into account in their policy making because, one, we need more economic growth in all countries, especially the UK, the US, and across Europe. And to do that, we need a more facilitative policy environment. And most of our policy making around innovation and entrepreneurship to date has not been based on sufficient evidence of what works and what doesn't work. So we need a greater evidence base, and to get a greater evidence base, we need more experimentation to actually generate that evidence for what's effective and what's not effective. Places like the Kauffman Foundation, Nesta, and the Innovation Growth Lab need to help government expand its evidence base and help them open up space for that rather than just criticizing people for doing this or not doing that in their approach to evidence.
We're really glad that IGL is here to help us become a more experimental organisation. We want to have access to the latest thinking and the best ideas, and we want to try out some of our own ideas as well. It's a safe environment for us to ask some questions, ask for a bit of help, see what other people are doing and learn from it. We think that there's no reason why we should be on this journey alone.
Governments need to become more experimental in the way they design their programs and policies, simply because still governments are the single largest players in a lot of sectors, whether it is in development or in growth or in entrepreneurship. They in terms of resources and in terms of the reach, governments are the most important players. And if we focus only on the non-profit sector or the private sector, then we miss upon this vast swath of people who are really, really important. Governments are also trying out new programs all the time. Every year governments announce new programs, and those are very good opportunities to build in a little bit more of experimentation and in trying out new things rather than just being stuck with a program forever.
I think the governments have to use more evidence in policy making because it is important that we learn from what we are doing. By using the evidence and getting evaluation evidence and so on is the key thing to success.
I think there's a lot of excitement. I think that finally there is a realization that government should experiment. I used to say fail and fail a lot. I would also say it's not necessarily just fail and fail a lot. It's experiment a lot. And when you are experimenting, your aim should not be to create a policy you know will fail, but to take a lot of risk. So instead of failing, what I want all of us to take away is that we need to take a lot more risky decision in policy making.
Today we've learned that there is a growing appetite for experimentation around the world. When we started to set up this conference, we didn't know how many people would actually be interested in the topic. We ended up having people from over 25 countries coming here to actually find out about new ways of doing innovation policy and how becoming more experimental can make the policies more effective. We're just hoping that the same thing is going to happen in the area of innovation, entrepreneurship and growth policy. We think the time has come.